Hey, welcome to another raw reaction video in this series where my producers pick something for me to react to raw and in the moment. Today's reaction is an article called "The 6 Psychologically Damaging Things Parents Say to Their Kids Without Realizing It." Oh, this is gonna be fun. I hope I'm not on this list. All right, let's see what happens here. All right, so first off, it's saying parents don't set out to say hurtful or harmful things to their children, but it happens. You're tired, they're pushing your buttons, and you're frustrated after asking them for the 600th time to clear their plates or get out the door on time. Sounds pretty typical, right? All right, I'm gonna read this and we're gonna go through each of these together. I love this. It's saying, we parents are trying our best, but sometimes, a lot of times, we fall short. It's so funny. As parents, we do our best. Our parents did their best, and sometimes our best isn't good enough. All right, so the very first damaging things that a parent might say to their kids is, it's not a big deal. And the reason it is harmful is because it's telling our kids that having their feelings aren't okay. And they're referencing all those memes like, oh, the reasons my kid is crying, it's like I wouldn't let them brush their teeth with toilet water. And on one hand, it's really funny. But on the other hand, if we're telling our children that their emotions aren't valid in some way, then what's happening is in those early formative years when children are creating their belief system, they're going to grow up thinking that their emotions aren't valid or that their emotions don't matter. So I can see how this would be really damaging. And at the same time, it's not a big deal, right? We feel like we have the capacity to know it's not a big deal, but for their little tiny limited capacity, it is very much a very big deal and it needs to move through them. Ooh, I like this. In the article, they're telling what to say instead. That's really cool. I love that. So they're getting some advice from a woman who wrote a book. Her name is Amy McCready, and she's giving the recommendation of first trying to see what the child is feeling and saying something like, oh, you seem really scared or frustrated right now, and then taking it a step further and saying, should we talk about it and figure out what to do? Which is so amazing because you're letting the child feel what they're feeling. They're getting validated, they're being understood, and now you're giving them a skill that they'll be able to take on further and giving the responsibility back to them. What do you want to do? How do you want to manage your own emotions? How do you want to take care of yourself? Okay, so number 2 is using absolutes. They're saying, you never do this or you always do that. Okay, guilty mom right here, right? It's like, you're always leaving dirty dishes out. And I know it's not true, but it definitely feels like that for me in the moment. And using these very broad statements can be very damaging. She's saying that it misses an opportunity for you to teach them what they should and what they can do next time. So again, she's saying to put that responsibility back on the child and having them decide, okay, what do you need to be doing in these moments? What is your responsibility and how are you going to take care of it? I love this. She's also saying that when you're talking to them, make sure they're not distracted by something else. Because if you're asking them to do something like, hey, clean up their dishes, and they're on the phone and then they're going, yeah, mom, they're not actually listening. So you don't actually have an agreement there. So I love that they put that little extra part in. Ugh. Okay, this is a huge one, and we've talked about this a little bit in some of the other videos that we've done, but making somebody else responsible for your emotions. So the example is, you make me sad when you do that. The other flip side of that would be, oh, you made me so happy when you did this thing. We see this a lot with parenting toddlers, right? Because we're trying to teach them new milestones. And so we might hear someone say, oh, you made me so happy when you put on your own shoe, or it made me so happy when you use the potty. And so we're teaching children that they are responsible for our emotions. And they say it in the article that kids can get to decide if we are going to be feeling happy or sad. And I remember when I was a kid, my brother and I would think it was so funny to make our dad angry. And he would go into a 7-Eleven or a gas station or something, and we would decide, hey, let's play fight so that we could see him, lose his stuff. And we thought it was so funny, and we had all the control, right, to pull his marionette strings. But the other thing that's happening now is a lot of guilt can be given to a child on the flip side of that. If we're telling them that they are responsible for our feelings, anytime we're feeling sad or upset in some way, they might feel responsible that they have to be the ones to fix it for us. And it's not the case. We need to be able to manage our own emotions and give them the permission and the tools to manage theirs. Okay, so number 4 is telling our children, you should know better. And really what we're telling them is, you are dumb. You can't figure it out for yourself. You obviously need somebody outside of you to help you figure this out. Oh, I love that she says that it's using guilt or shame. So we're shaming our children into making them think that they should have done something better, when really children are learning. They're just trying to figure it out. So if we can take the opposite perspective and really look at them and understand, oh, they're trying to learn right now. They're just a silly little human in a silly little human body, and then give that responsibility back to them to help them figure out what it is that they should be doing differently. She says instead to say something like, looks like we've got a situation here. What can we do to fix it? And I love that, because it's first starting out with, hey, we're a team. Let's figure out how we can fix this together now. And then in the future, as the child begins or continues to develop, the child will have these skills and be able to ask themselves the question, how can I fix it? So we're really giving them some long-term goals that are going to take them into a lifetime of being able to problem solve. All right, so number 5, the phrase is, just let me do it. So we're giving our children the message that they're not capable of doing something. And they're giving the analogy of, imagine that you're just so close to figuring it out and somebody just comes and does it for you. They're actually robbing the child from the opportunity to feel proud of themselves, to accomplish that thing that they were trying so hard at. Another flip side of that would be a child who just goes, oh, I can't do it. And they just get used to everybody doing everything for them, and they don't even try. They don't give themselves the opportunity to have those winning moments, to build that confidence, which we know confidence comes from competence. If I could say the word, that would be really helpful. But when we are competent, it grows our self-confidence. And so being able to give that child the opportunity is going to be really important. Number 6 is, you're a insert label here. I remember when I was younger, my friends and I would always say, labels are for jars, not people. And when I had my own children, trying to find that balance of helping them feel confident in what they were doing without labeling them. So sometimes we might say, oh, that art is so great, you're the artistic one, right? So we're putting a label on the child that seems to be more artistic, or you're the athletic one. Or when we're introducing them to other people, we might give them a label in our attempt to say, oh, here are some things that this child is good at, and you guys can connect on that level. When we give that label, one, the child thinks that could think that that's what they're good for. The reason that they do well in only that area is because of this one specific talent. And the other thing it does is, for the children who are listening, for the other siblings, they might think, oh, I'm not artistic because that's my sibling, or I'm not athletic because that's this other child's label. So when we put those labels on them, it really does create a box for them. She's saying in the article to notice and applaud the effort, not the outcome. So to say, hey, I can see you worked really hard on this, or I can see that you really gave it a lot of your time or a lot of your attention. And when we do that, then the child can reflect back and go, yeah, I did. I did run really hard. I did spend a lot of time painting, whatever it is. They're going to start to be able to see that within themselves, and to be able to find that place within them where they're proud of themselves for the work that they did. The cool thing is, because my kids are older now, I've been able to see this in the long term. And when my daughter will come home and say, hey, Mom, I did really good on this assignment. And I'll say, oh, yeah, how do you feel about it? She's like, I feel really good because I put a lot of energy into it. And the reverse thing too, she'll say, hey, I got an A on this assignment and I didn't even try that hard. So it's funny how we can know how well we did when we look within and be able to find that place where we can pat ourselves on the back. So overall, I love this article. It's by the HuffPost. They did a really great job of gently showing us what not to say and then what to say instead. And thank you to all of you parents who might be watching this, who are really looking at providing that best possible learning experience for your child so they grow up self-aware and confident. Thank you for joining us today. Head over to our next video where we dive into the toxic effects of social media. This has been your Ray of Sunshine. I will see you in the next video.